Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to be doing a holiday New Year's Eve glam look. I just wanted to play around and do something maybe grungy and sparkly, but still quite glowy. So I'm gonna be using some new products that I have not tested at all, and then I'm gonna be using some staples, sort of a mixture here. I have the new Laura Lee Los Angeles blush palette I've been wanting to play with, as well as the Lunar Beauty Outer Dimension palette. I thought this would be great. Definitely going to be contouring, shaping the face. We'll try out these brightening powders as well. I also have a new concealer that Cheryl recommended. This is the Soft Focus Airbrush Concealer from Almay Cosmetics. This is full coverage, which is why I want to use it today. Also have a highlighter from Almay Cosmetics to play with. And then I wanted to use this Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. I just thought these tones for holiday and for New Year's Eve would be beautiful. So I want to do something kind of grungy with that. I may add in this Valentino Beauty glitter. We'll see how I feel. And I have a Tom Ford lipstick. I have some other products as well. I do also have these face brushes from Lunar Beauty that I want to play around with. And then I do like to add things in here and there depending on my mood and where the look takes us. So today I'm going to be focusing on a really grungy, glittery, glowy holiday look. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do enjoy trying new makeup videos, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. I will link all the products that I use today down below in my description box, and let's go ahead and begin. So I've zoomed you in, and before we start on the eyes, I do want to do a little skin prep. I want this look to be glowy, glitzy, glittery, but I also want it to last all night. I'm super excited because I am partnering with Dialba for this portion of the video. They sent over a couple products a few months back, and I've been trying them out, and I've fallen in love with this product. So this is the Dialba White Truffle Spray Serum. It's essentially an all-in-one serum mist. I love the convenience of it because you just spray it on and go. So not only is it convenient in terms of application, it has two different layers to it. So you have an essence on the bottom infused with white truffle, which is great for fine lines, wrinkles, anti-aging. And then you have avocado oil on the top, which is great to nourish the skin, provide hydration. So of course you can just shake it up before using it, and it has a really nice nozzle on it. And I just like to use this in the mornings to really hydrate my skin before my makeup or to refresh during the day. Recently I've been doing retinoids, which are drying my skin out, so I need a little bit more hydration, especially on my forehead. And I like the ease of use because I can just spray this on and go. It has a mixture of oil in there to really give you that intense hydration and that dewy, glowy look. So for application, I just like to shake it up, and I just like to spray it in the areas that are really dry. You can spray it all over, and it has a really light, pleasant scent, like very light. So I really just like to apply it all over, but again, hit my forehead a little bit heavier, but it just gives you this nice hydration to your skin. I tend to get very dry around my forehead area, but I'm more combo in my T-zone. So I like to hit the forehead area a little bit heavier than the rest of my face. The mister is nice and fine, but it really gets the job done. It doesn't leave like big droplets or anything like that. And because it has that avocado oil in there, which is like a superfood, it really hydrates your skin without feeling heavy. It just soaks into my skin while I'm doing my eye makeup, and then when I apply my face makeup, it just gives me that glowy look. This is a staple product for Korean makeup artists. They've sold tons of these on Amazon, and that's another thing I love is you can grab this on Amazon. So I will leave a link down below to the Dialba website, but also to grab this on Amazon. So when we finish our look, I'll also show you how I use this over my makeup just to really kind of melt my powders in and give me even more of that radiance. So thank you to Dialba for sponsoring this portion of the video. If you're interested in checking this out, I will have links down below, and let's go ahead and jump into this makeup tutorial. So for the eyes, when I think about holiday looks or New Year's Eve, I think of glitz and glam, pretty heavy, smoky makeup. And I wanted to demo the Wild Jaguar palette from Huda Beauty. I never used this on camera, but this is a gorgeous palette. I'm not sure, you know, where I'm gonna take this because I really don't ever plan things, but I think I'm gonna start out with this shade right here. And I didn't set my eye base because I really want this to stick down because I want this to be smoky and dark. So starting out with that deep matte brown shade, I'm gonna be using a Smith 235 and I'm gonna pack it on and then lightly blend the edges. So I find that if I really want deep smoky eyes, it's very helpful to not set your eye base because that pigment just grabs right on. Whereas if you set like I normally do, sometimes I find that the deep colors on the lid specifically really don't turn out as rich. So I'm just sort of packing this on and then I'm taking the tip of the brush just to sort of blend. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just sort of laying down a base here. So what are you guys doing for New Year's Eve? I don't know if I'm doing anything. I'm honestly 33 in a 87-year-old body, you know, so really anymore, like going to bars and clubs, I just don't really care to do unless I'm like on vacation or like in Miami or something, not where I live because it's so boring here, or concerts. I really love concerts, but again, there just hasn't been much here that we wanted to go see. Next, I'm gonna jump into this gray tone in the palette, and I wanna use this to kind of buff the edges out. I'm just gonna use a Smith 230 and just sort of blend the edges of that first shade. I feel like this year we've seen so many more cool tone palettes, which I love. So I'm gonna jump back into that deep shade we used first. Just wanna really reinforce that color. And then I'm gonna go in with a Rephr 15 that is actually just clean. I really want to buff over these edges here. And then I'm gonna go into the black in the palette and I'm just going to pack this on the outer lower portion here. So I'm just kind of applying it and then using one of the brushes I used before just to make sure that it looks blended. And I'm not too concerned about the outer corner because I can clean that up. So for the lid, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm really kind of called to these two shades, but I also, wow, these are so pretty. I might go with this one. I also have this product I picked up from Sephora, which is the Valentino Beauty. These are the Dream Dust Multi-Reflective Eye Glitters. Now, Tati raved about these, but I also saw another YouTuber I watch, Khaki Reviews Beauty, I think. She said she hated it, and she was talking about the smell of it, and it smells absolutely atrocious. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, it smells like glue or something. I don't really know. So let's start off with this purple. Ooh, gosh, these are both pretty. I might actually mix these two. Let's start off with those, and then I might add a little bit or attempt to add a little bit of that Valentino. So I went ahead and mixed the shades, and I'm just going to pat them. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I don't even know if I want to add that Valentino because this is just gorgeous. This palette is so gorgeous. So I'm just adding it about halfway over. This is also dry, by the way, so you're gonna have some fallout, but wow. I'm just like loving these colors. So I just wet my brush and I wanna tap right in the center just to really amp this up. And then I'm taking that brush that had the black on it. So I put more of the purple on the inside and I'm taking more of that gunmetal in the middle. And then just to tie everything together, I'm gonna take a little bit of the matte gray and I'm gonna mix it with this sort of tan cream shade. And I'm gonna use a clean brush and like very lightly just blend the edges. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a makeup wipe and just sort of wipe underneath, get rid of some fallout. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my Nabla Cupid's Arrow in number 4, which is black, and I'm gonna use this to smudge on the top lash line, just so that I have something for my lashes to stick to. I like to take this directly off of a brush. This is just a tiny little brush, and that way I have control, because I feel like if I apply it directly to my lash line, I feel like it just gets too thick. So I just sort of take it off of the actual eyeliner, and then I use this to kind of smudge. So I just sort of smudge a little bit, and that way it just gives me a base to put lashes on. And then to blend it in to the outer corner, I'm taking a Rephr 26, and I'm just gonna go back in to the black with the very little amount of it. And I just want to really blend pretty much only the outer edge here. So I went ahead and applied my mascara, but I'm gonna be adding lashes. These are a brand that I purchased, I found on TikTok. These are the most affordable foaming lashes that I've ever seen. This is a UK brand, but I feel like these are like $1.99, $2.99. I think it is in pounds, but seriously, like $3 a pair, and they have so many different pairs. So I'm gonna be applying this one called 4D Obsessed, but I got literally like 30 pairs. Here's another one called Dream. So I'll link their website down below, but I just saw it on TikTok. It did take a couple weeks to get to me because it did come from the UK, but the lashes feel really nice and they're not mink, which I don't support. So really, really happy to have found this brand. So I did trim these a little bit, and I'm gonna pop these on. All right, so lashes are on, and I wanna go ahead and use my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. I just wanna use this in my T-zone because I used that serum mist. I really don't need to add another moisturizer just because it really hydrates the skin, but I do wanna add this just where I have large pores. So for foundation, I do want some coverage because I am doing a full glam look, but I also want that glow. I'm gonna go ahead and mix two of my favorites. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in 5.75 with my NARS in Stromboli. I'm gonna use basically half and half, and I wanna use this brush from Lunar Beauty. So I'm gonna be using some of the face brushes. This is the LBF2 foundation brush, and then if I wanna go in and use my sponge afterwards, I can definitely do that. So I'm just mixing these together. Quickly before I put on foundation, I am gonna do a little spot concealing because my skin is just giving me a rough time. All right, so I'm going in with my foundation mixture. This brush feels really nice and soft. It's not super dense, but it's not like flimsy where I'm getting no coverage. I feel like I'm the queen of mixing foundations. I'm just gonna grab a smaller brush here. This is the Real Techniques setting brush just to get around my hairline. I have like seriously the biggest struggle. When I used to have like a shadow root, meaning that I had like deeper roots, it was so much easier. But having bleach blonde roots, you basically can't, like you literally cannot get up to your hairline without getting it in your hair. Just like even right here, I have like these little baby hairs, and if I try to go into my hairline, it gets in my hair. Okay, so foundation is on. I actually really like this. I didn't have any streaking. I prefer something that's sort of in the middle like this because I remember the Sigma, I can't remember, but it was the, was it the F80, the flat kabuki? It just is a little bit too stiff, and I felt like it would just move my product and streak it around. This one is more forgiving, but it still has enough density to give you coverage, but you can really like buff and swirl with this one, so I like it. So I wanna go in next to this new concealer. Now, Cheryl told me to buy this, and I've tried some stuff from this brand. This is Holly Boone's brand. It's called Almay Cosmetics. Cheryl told me that this was like super full coverage, really nice concealer, so I picked it up. I got SF 1.5W, well, it's called the soft focus. So 1.5W, a little goes a long way. This is really high coverage. It's one of those that I really don't want to use with like a skin tint or something like that. But for this look, it's pretty perfect. Now I will say the shade's too light. I was thinking about going back and getting maybe like 2.5 or something like that. So I am going to use that Real Techniques brush. Yeah, like look at that coverage. I feel like I even used too much. That's the thing, is like less is more, and I'm not used to using such a little amount, which is good because it'll last for a long time, but it blends really nicely. It's just one of those that I feel like this is not the one you're gonna wanna do like a triangle under your eyes with. Look how much that just lifted and brightened my eye. So I went ahead and set my face. I did use my Huda Beauty Pound Cake in the center of my face, and then I did use my Dior Backstage for the perimeters of my face, like my forehead and around my jawline. But now I want to finish off the eyes, and then we'll move into the Lunar Beauty palette and the Laura Lee Los Angeles. So because I want this to be super smoky, I'm going to take my Nabla liner again, and I am going to apply this in the waterline. Every single time I get it on my contact. Every single time. I never miss. I do wish that it was smaller, the actual pencil. So I'm going to take a pencil brush. I just want to smoke this out. So these liners are so great because they really give you playtime, and then once you smoke it out, they set. So they're my favorite for like smudging or even in the waterline. And then I can take that first brush that I use just to really do any like detail work. I find that I have a hard time covering my blonde lash line sometimes, so this helps. So just applying it and then just blending it out. So now that we have that down, I actually am gonna go into the gray tone up here, and I'm gonna use the Rephr 26 again. And I just wanna smoke this. I'm actually gonna mix in a little bit of that black. And I just want to smoke underneath. And then with a Rephr 14, I'm going to take the gray alone, so I'm not using any of the black. And I'm just going like really low, like I'm on my eye bag here, to really make this grungy. So I do want to pull in some more purple, so I'm going to take the middle shade and I'm going to use it on a wet brush and apply it to the center of my lower lash line. Okay, I am curious, so I do want to try this Valentino Beauty Glitter. I'm just going to take a little tiny bit on a brush. Let me actually, I don't even think I can get my finger in there to feel it. So it comes off, let's swatch it. Okay, I mean, it feels just like, I don't know, a glitter suspended in some gel. It smells really strong though, like it smells cheap. I don't know how to describe it. So I'm gonna try to just apply a little bit, honestly, because I really like the look that we have. So just to the center of my lid here, and I'm just gonna kind of, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty, but I don't really think that, I don't know, I feel like you could get this from like ColourPop, or my stomach is making some gnarly noises. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit under here as well. I mean, I do think it's pretty. I really wanted the more like golden shade, but it was sold out. I think Tati had something to do with that. So now that the eyes are basically done, we have to get the face contoured. We have to add some dimension. So I'm gonna be using the Lunar Beauty Outer Dimension palette. This is the face palette, which is contour and highlighting, also bronzing. The packaging on this, I've been wanting to use this, and November was just insanity. I keep saying that, but it really was. So wait till you see this packaging. And this is like heavy, heavy. This is the outer packaging. Oh my gosh, and it's so heavy. Like super weighted. I haven't even swatched this or anything. It's just such unique packaging. It's so Manny. Manny loves to go like as far as he can with packaging. It's really important to him. And then inside you get 10 different shades to mix, match, brighten, deepen, contour, bronze. And I feel like a lot of people were saying that this wasn't inclusive. And I think that when you get it in person, it looks much deeper. I feel like a lot of times with YouTube videos, when you have all these lights on you, it does tend to blow you out. And sometimes when you see people using this, or even like Manny's announcement video, it looks lighter than it actually is. So this is the deepest shade in the palette. And then there's a white, again, for mixing and brightening. And I feel like Manny said that he did the best he could. Obviously, he's not going to be able to create one palette that's going to work for literally every skin tone. He did also explain in his video that he did one palette just because every time you do a different color, it's a different SKU and you have minimums. So if he were to do, let's say 10 bronzers, he may have to order 10,000 units of each shade. That's 100,000 units. And he is self-funded. He doesn't have investors. So for him, he tried his best to do the best possible inclusive palette that he could. I think he also said that he did reach out to other creators, Black creators that were friends of his, and they told him, you know, what undertones worked and what worked for them. But when you get this in person, I mean, this shade is pretty dark. Now, is it going to contour every single skin tone? No, but I think he really did put his heart and soul into this and tried. So I want to try it out and see, you know, how it blends and what shades will work for me. I would think this shade would be probably for like bronzing. I may even have to mix in a little bit of this. And then for contour, again, you can mix them. I may mix the deep shade with this shade to give me a cool toned contour. So we will play around with it, but feels really nice and buttery when you swatch it. And I love the packaging on it. It feels very heavy and weighted. So I'm going to use his brushes as well. So to do a little bit of contouring, I'm going to be using this brush, which is the LBF3. And I think I am going to grab, I'm trying to decide, I think I'm going to mix a little bit of this shade with the deeper shade. I feel like that's the whole point, is you're supposed to be able to just mix. I think this would be great for a makeup artist. So I'm just taking this really far back to give me a little bit of a contour. Yeah, so it's definitely giving me that subtle contour. And again, you can mix and match. So I'm going in for a second layer. Okay, so I did this side of my face and you can see that it's more contoured and sculpted. I really do like mixing the deep shade just because it's very cool toned. So you can mix it with some of the other shades that may be a little bit warmer. So you can kind of customize whether you want something that's super cool toned or you want something that's a little bit in the middle. So I've chiseled the face out. Now I want to go in and bronze. I'm going to mix these two just because this one is quite warm and then this one will bring it down a little bit because I feel like this might be a little bit too deep for me. I'm going to be using this double-ended brush. So he has this available like as a set. And I forgot to say that I'm actually an affiliate with Lunar Beauty. So if you want to use BabsBeauty, you can get 10% off your order. So I'll leave the information down below. But I'm going to start with the fluffy side and just kind of mix these two shades. Okay, so they're pigmented, more pigmented than I had anticipated. So you're just going to have to play around and kind of feel out the formula. I'm going to go ahead and bronze up the forehead. So it's blending beautifully. It's super lightweight. There's no kick up in the pan, like it's not a powdery formula. And this brush is doing a great job too. I think you can use like the other side to brighten up and set like your T-zone. So I want to try out one of the brightening powders and I just want to use it to kind of clean up my contour. I think I'm going to mix these two, which is Bright Sky and Pink Sky. And I'm just going to use a sponge. Just sort of like pull it right under my contour. I also do want to contour my nose, so I'm going to be mixing these two shades again, but I'm going to be using my own brush. And then I'm going to grab this Bright Sky powder, and I'm going to just kind of pinch this in. And just let it sort of bake. Okay, so for blush, Laura Lee Los Angeles came out with the Blush Aesthetic palette. I love blush, so anytime I see a blush palette, I just get super excited. And I sort of wanted to use colors that maybe I typically wouldn't go for. I usually would go for like the pink shades, but I think I want to go for like these two right here. So I'm gonna start out with Bridal Pink. I don't even know if this will show up though, just because it's very light, but I'm gonna be using, let's see, I'm gonna use this LBF4 from Lunar Beauty. Because my eyes have a lot going on, I don't wanna go too crazy with the blush, even though I love going crazy with the blush. So that is a very subtle shade, which I feel like a lot of people love. You kind of build it up to get it where you want it to be. So to add a little bit more color, I am gonna go into this sort of mauve tone. This is called Caramel Cream, and I'm assuming, yeah, you don't need as much. So it's kind of a unique color to my collection. I don't have a lot of mauves. And because I'm insane, I'm gonna take a little bit of Peach Fuzz. So this is what the blush is looking like. It's not overly pigmented. I feel like you can definitely build it up. And I did use the more subdued shades. To be honest, I would probably usually dive into this shade and this shade. There's also a highlighter in here, but I feel like it's a little bit too golden for what we have going on. But I'll continue to use this in upcoming videos. I have another highlighter that I thought would go better with this look. So I did pick up this highlighter from Almay Cosmetics, and this is the Sun Soaked High Shine Highlighter. And the shade is La Costa, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, I feel like this would go better. This is like really intense. So I'm gonna be using the Lunar Beauty, and this is the LBF6 brush. And I'm just going to sort of build this up. I thought this would match more with what we have going on. So I'm also going to apply some on my inner corner. And then also down the center of my nose. So I went ahead and curled my hair, and I want to go ahead and finish off this look. I'm going to be using the Buxom Power Line Plumping Lip Liner in the shade High Def Honey. It has a slanted tip and it has a brush on the other side, but I really love the color of this, and because we have a lot going on the eyes, I want to do a sort of neutral lip. So for lips, I thought this might be a good option. This is new from Tom Ford. This is the Extreme Badass Lip Color in the shade 03 Blush New. I love the packaging of this. Now I've seen a couple reviews that said that it was a little bit dry, but I think I'm gonna love it. It definitely feels matte, like dry, but I love this color. This is literally like heaven on earth color for me. Yeah, this is like my type of color. I actually really like this. And then you can go back in with your lip liner and just kind of go around it. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe away the powder that I had on to sort of brighten and clean up my contour. Same thing around my nose. I just like to sort of press it in. That powder did a really good job, and so did that contour. At first I thought I had used a little bit too much of the dark one and it was a little bit too cool tone, but then I just mixed in a little bit more of the warm tone bronzy shade and it made like a great contour color for my nose. So my makeup is done, and to add a little bit more glow, I'm going to be going in with the Dialba Serum Mist, and I'm going to focus this mostly on my forehead area where I really like to look a little bit more glowy and radiant. So you see how it just goes over your makeup perfectly. It doesn't disrupt it, it doesn't have any droplets, but it just gives me a nice glow. So if you're someone that has dry skin, or you feel like throughout the day your skin just gets dry, you could definitely just take this with you in your purse and just spray it whenever you feel like you need it. Alright guys, so here's my finished makeup look, my version of New Year's Eve or holiday party glam, using some new products and some staples. So I want to go over my thoughts, starting out with the Dialba Serum Mist. Of course I love it. I wouldn't have worked with them if I didn't. I've been using it a ton. I just love the ease of use. It's not overly fragranced. It's not thick, sticky. It looks beautiful under makeup, over makeup, and it really just gives me hydration without having to rub a ton of stuff in. I can just kind of spray it where I need it. So I'm a huge fan of this. I will leave a link down below to check it out. I highly recommend it. Also, I already knew I loved the Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. I did mention this in my Sephora recommendations video, I believe. The colors in here are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at the just gunmetal gorgeous colors that you get in this palette. These shimmers are phenomenal in here. They're not like toppers. They're actual shimmers, like metallics, full body. The mattes are beautiful and you get just such a unique color story. So I absolutely love this. Not sure how I feel about this Valentino Beauty glitter gel. I just feel like it really, honest to God, reminds me of like a ColourPop glitter gel, but just finer glitters. Yes, it's pretty, but it stinks. Like I can smell it like flying around here and I'm like, woo, like it just smells like craft glue or something like that. So again, it's not crazy, like I hate it, but I'm not wowed by it. It had quite a bit of fallout. So I don't know. I just don't know if I would really recommend you spend this much money on this when I feel like there's so many other options. I'm absolutely loving this concealer from Almay Cosmetics. I will say a little goes a long way. This is full coverage, like crazy coverage. This truly may be the most high coverage concealer that I've ever tried. So my only thing is I wear this for full glam. This is not something that I would pair with a skin tint because I've noticed that you're just gonna get like a line, like crazy coverage and brightening, and then you kind of see your skin through the skin tint. So just know that it's really high coverage, but I really, really like it. It's smoothing, it sets well, it wears well. It's more of my like full glam pick. Also pretty impressed with this Lunar Beauty Outer Dimension palette. I love the packaging. It's very heavy. It feels nice and luxe. And I really like the options in here. I was really surprised how much I love the brightening powders. Super smoothing, very thin texture, not dry on the skin. These powders are great for kind of baking the sides of your nose, cleaning up your contour. I also want to try them for actually like setting, which I'll try in another video, but I really liked it and I really liked the bronzing shades here. I feel like it blended beautifully. It wasn't like a heavy powder. There's no radiance to it, so it's not giving you, you know, texture on your forehead. I think that it's a great palette if you love to mix and match, which I do a lot, especially with these types of shades. If I need a little bit more brightness, I can just go into this shade or this shade, but if I just want something that's more on par with like my T-zone, then I'll go down here. Same thing with the contour. You're gonna have to play around a little bit because this is a very dark shade for my skin tone, but I just mixed it in with this one and kind of just played around. I can see myself using the brightening shades the most. I have a brightening powder from KKW, and we all know that like KKW is rebranding or who knows, but I've hit pan on it and I'm almost out. It's very much like this shade. So I'll be using these probably in place of that just to again like pinch my nose contour, clean up under my contour. And I really like these two shades, just mixing them for a bronzer. They're not too warm, they're not too cool, and they're not heavy. They don't accentuate my texture. So overall, I'm excited to play with this and just try it a bunch of different ways. I think that's the whole purpose of it, is you can do whatever you want. Use it on your eyes, mix and match, and figure out what colors work for you. Now, in terms of the Lunar Beauty brushes, my two picks would be the foundation brush, which is the LBF2. I just liked the density of this. It's very soft, doesn't leave streaks, and I like that I can do circular motions. I can swipe back and forth. It's not moving my product. It's still giving me coverage. So I really like this. And this would be my second pick, which would be the dual-ended brush. I didn't get to try this side, but it would be like literally perfect to just kind of set and touch up under your eyes and around your nose. I feel like we have literally like NASCAR racetrack going on, okay? It's been going on and I'm like this close to, you know, going outside and having a word, because do we need to drive by my house 10 times revving our engine. No, we don't, but we're gonna do it anyway. So it keeps distracting me. But I really would use this to just set and touch up my T-zone area. So again, we'll keep playing with these products. And I really like this for bronzer. It's really, really soft, and it just kind of is the perfect size. It's not too big or fluffy, and it's not too small. So it really just gave me a nice warmth to the face. So those would be my 2 picks. But again, I'll keep playing around with these products in videos to come. Also really enjoyed the Laura Lee Los Angeles blush aesthetic palette. I just like the aesthetic of it, honestly. I like how it's just quite simple. I know Laura Lee has sort of changed her style over the years. When she first started her brand, and she didn't really have a cohesive theme, and I feel like now she's more into like minimalist stuff, lifestyle stuff, and I'm totally on board with that. Now I do want to play with this more. Obviously there's 7 blushes in here and then a highlighter, and I only used I think 3 of the blushes today. So again, I'll keep incorporating into other videos, but the formula on this is very thin. It's not powdery at all, and it's buildable. I feel like this would be great for beginners. It's not one that you dip in and you look like a clown, and I think that it's nice for people that just want to be able to build up and mix and match. I have to say, this is the year of the blush. I mean, the Patrick Ta, the Melt blush, now we've got this. There's more that I can't even think of. I mean, blush is really in. I've loved blush for years, so this is like, you know, Christmas every day for me. So I'm excited to use this more, and I think it's a great formula. Now, in terms of the Almay Cosmetics highlighter, I love formulas like this that are not powdery. They're more like baked. There's not a ton of kick up. This is very blinding. I mean, you can get it blinding very easily. It's creamy when you touch it, and I feel like it picks up great on a brush. It's one of those that can look a little bit streaky or stripy, so I just kind of took my finger and blended it, and I was good to go. I like the color of it too because it is quite brightening. It's not quite white, but it's very, very light, and I know they have 3 shades, I think, of this. So I love Almay Cosmetics. A lot of their stuff I've tried, I've really enjoyed, like their lip liners, their lip glosses, now their highlighter, their blushes, and I did just purchase an eyeshadow palette, so those will be coming, or that will be coming in videos to come. I love this Buxom lip liner. Like, I love, love, love. I love the shade. It's like my perfect shade. It's just not too deep, not too light, so it's like my perfect shade. I love the formula too, and I actually really like this Tom Ford lipstick. I'd seen some reviews and it did actually look quite dry, and like it was making people's lips look crusty. I don't really have dry lips, I have to say. Shout out to my Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balms. I really don't have dry lips. It's not something I struggle with, or I don't really have like lines in my lips because, you know, filler kind of fills it out. So for me, it's not really a struggle, but this color is basically like my dream color. It's like a pinky, light nude, perfect to pair with any of my nude lip liners. This is like my go-to. It is a matte formula. It feels very thin, has a little bit of a tug when you apply it, but I have to say the color is like literally made for me, so I'm pretty happy I picked that up. All right, so that is everything for this trying new makeup video. I hope you guys enjoyed my version of a holiday glam or New Year's Eve look. I will link all the products down below. Don't forget to check out this serum mist. I highly recommend it if you're like me and you just want to spray on and go, but you want that hydration. So that will be at the top of my description box. Everything else will be linked down below as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.